We're gonna build a circle. Yes, you heard me correctly. I know it seems impossible, but in Vintage Story, we can do anything. Sort of. We can achieve a very high level of detail for a voxel game. Why am I building a circle? You saw the thumbnail, I want to build a lighthouse. I love building lighthouses, but I've never built one in this game. It seems to me that I'll be able to unlock more creative opportunities if I take advantage of the chiseling, roofing, and beam mechanics that Vintage Story offers. Part of the reason I want to build a lighthouse is because I recently visited some on Lake Superior. The Great Lakes have a ton of lighthouses everywhere, and I love them. I saw a bunch around these islands here, and I'll be using them as inspiration, particularly the Outer Island and Devil's Island lighthouses. So here are the blocks Wait your turn. So here are some of the blocks I'm planning to work with. I want to have a wharf made out of granite and then maybe some adjacent docks. Think about that later. Here's the granite blocks to work with. Polished, ashlar, regular granite rock, and dry stone. I have more options, of course. For the building adjacent to the lighthouse, I want to have brown bricks and then a metal copper roof. Like this. Apparently you can use nails and strips for this. Before I thought you had to use entire plates, which are 8 times more expensive than this. So yeah, I want to have a copper roof. Gotta have windows, of course. For the lighthouse itself, I want to use slate. And I really like slate because it has this off, like, black color to it. But of course, that's not the main body of the lighthouse, which are traditionally white. I want to have a very white block here. In particular, I picked polished chalk rock. I like the seams that it has around the edges, and it's relatively inexpensive. You'll notice I don't actually have any to display here. Been killing so many of these guys. This is what I get for starting the video at nighttime. Hey! Yeah, I don't know where chalk is. I've never found any around this area yet, so that's going to be an adventure. Gonna have to search around and look for chalk. Hopefully it won't take too long, we'll see. Once I do, I'm going to mine a bunch of it, then bring it back. I forgot to mention, but I'll also be making use of beams on the lighthouse. Another reason I wanted to build one is because I wanted to finally build a sailboat. There is a really immersive process to boat building in this game. I've never tried it, but it's labor and linen intensive. And, well, you know, boats need harbors, and harbors need lighthouses. So that's the plan. I was thinking that I would build the lighthouse right here. There's a good amount of water, a little bit of room for sailing. No, I'm kidding. There's this huge lake right in front of the village here. It's a little dark so you can't see it, but this is how it looks from the map. It's quite large. So I was thinking about putting the lighthouse right here. Now you may be wondering, why a lake? Why not an ocean? The answer is because I created this world several updates ago, there are no oceans. Not because it didn't exist, but because they didn't come with worlds by default, and I just didn't know that when I made the world. So, no oceans. But we do have the giant lake. Now, I've got my reference images, I've got my blocks of choice. I'm going to try to figure out how I want this to look organically. I didn't really plan any building before. Like, I've got a lot of ideas, I just got to know what order to do them in. So I've kind of gone ahead and laid out this 2-tiered wharf thing here. We'll have a stone wharf, and then this dock will also be made of stone. But I'm going to have several other wooden docks, I think, to give it character. Now my thought for a stone wharf is to keep it nice and classic, and just do like dry stone on the bottom that slowly fades into ashlar blocks that then slowly fade into polished granite. We'll have to see how this looks. Thing is, I kind of don't have a lot of material to work with. I mean, I showed you everything we're going to use. I just need more of it, you know? Let's see how much I've actually got. Almost nothing. Cool. Got some dry stone. Maybe I'll try to put this to use and show you what I mean. I'm not even totally sure. I'm going to try to put it together on land first. Dry stone, dry stone, dry stone. I like how this looks. Dry stone, dry stone, dry stone, dry stone, dry stone. All right, here's my thought. I'd add some of these in here at the top. This is just theoretical, of course. By the way, they got rid of those weird seams that appeared on polished slabs. You'll notice it's gone here. They also, I think, appeared on the actual block physically sometimes. Those are gone. That was removed in 1.22.5 or 4. Anyway, I remember reading that and being excited. So we're going to make a multi-block. I'm going to combine some of this ashlar here. I don't really know how this is going to turn out. Thought it'd be cool to make like messy bricks here. Let me just grab the copying tool. Okay, that's not bad. Needs a little bit of work. Like the lines don't perfectly add up in all these places. Since the textures are kind of random. Looks a little better, right? I thought that would be cool if these long ways bricks were sunk in just a little bit. Maybe like that. I wonder how this looks. I think I was imagining like a little more. Like, okay, there we go. Add a little bit more randomness to it. Sync some of these a little bit. I think you guys get the point. There's a lot that I can do. Because I'm going to have that polished kind of outcropping, maybe I need to be shrinking this a little bit because it's going to be pretty big. Here's another idea that I had. Oh, I wonder if I could really pull it off. Maybe I'll use a different material. I'll do something like this. Start chiseling. Shrink it down. I could go like that. As you can see, that's sort of like a pillar. I like that. I like that a lot. I was hesitant to use this style. Maybe that would work, though. Ooh, I like this. All right, boom. I think that's our design. I really do like that. All right, well, thankfully, that means that this first part is going to be the easiest part. Just filling in this area. So I am going to shrink it just a tad. Now, I never build in water. That's something I never really do. The swimming mechanics are a little different than Minecraft. Alright, that was like nearly a stack of dry stone. I really sunk that foundation in. Kind of like how this looks. I know it's weird. It's just a pile of bricks, but I like how it looks. Maybe I just like the textures of this game a lot. I don't know. You know what else, though, I think would look good is if I mixed it up with like a little bit of cobblestone. And I know I've got some over there, so let's go get it. I'm also on my last bowl of food, so I gotta cook something. Kind of been running out of food lately. You know, ever since I started feeding the animals and prioritizing flax growth, I haven't really prioritized feeding myself. Oh, look at that. There's a marsh deer right in front of my barn. Ah. Oh, he's aggressive. Ow. Ow. Holy crap. That almost one-shot me. Deserved. How dare you attack me after I attack you. Alright, well that's a food problem pretty much sorted. Another thing I wanted to talk about is, for each of my Vintage Story episodes for the foreseeable future, I was planning on giving one person a free game account for each video I make. So all you have to do to get it is find the secret message somewhere in this video, leave a comment with the timestamp of the secret message, I'll pin that, and then I'll message you with the game key. Make sure you don't do it in a reply, make sure you do it in a comment, okay? Good luck, guys. Anyways, might as well check on the animal barn. It looks like the sheep gave birth to a little baby. Ooh, excuse me. Oh my god. It's a little baby boy sheep. I did this thing lately where I tried to trap the males of each species so they can still access the feed trough, but so that they won't mingle with the rest of them. And they don't seem to be able to climb on top of feed troughs, so I'm kind of using that to my advantage a little bit. This doesn't seem to work so well with chickens for some reason, though. Like, it mostly keeps them in, but occasionally a hen gets inside. I don't know what to do about that. We got lots of eggs, which is nice. Pigs are doing good. I still don't have anything to feed the rabbits. Ooh, a baby goat. Dang. Since it's a baby male goat, it's kind of useless because generation number is inherited from the mother. So I guess I'll kill it when it grows up. Anyway, look at the bee farm is ready to harvest. Yo, installing this upgraded apiary mod from Golden Combs, it kind of has gotten me interested in the process of making honey in real life. I love honey. Ate a lot of honey. Maybe it's something I could do one day. Though I will say that this mod kind of makes it too easy. So at the point where I'm thinking about uninstalling it and going back to the traditional skeps, or trying a harder mod out. It's like all I have to do is walk right up, grab that top thing, and take the honeycomb out. It's like, it's too simple. Got a lot from that though. All right, let's squeeze the honey out of these. Nice. How many? 7.2 liters of honey, which I can add to my barrel of honey that I have pretty much no use for. Now I think we might as well make some meat pies. Let's see if I even have any dough left. I think I'm kind of running low. Ooh, that's not good. I think we need 4 for a pie. 4 rice flour, 4 rye flour. Cool. And then I guess I'll just put this dough right here. I'm out of wood. Grab some wood. I'll just take this. While those are cooking, come check this out. I did a little bit of chiseling work on the fountain. Just a little bit. I added like arches here, and then I used a swavite rock to trim the inside of the arches. I have it all the way around. I have a diagonal arch, but I can't put one here. Because if I put one here, the water starts to leak through if I carve a little hole there, so there's just not one there. I'll have to think about a solution later. I think it looks okay. Swavite is kind of a difficult material to work with in this regard because it's just so dark and like noisy, you know? Kind of hard to make out details from a distance unless the shadows are hitting it just right. All right, a little bit of granite cobblestone, not a whole lot. Also fanned granite cobblestone, which looks really good. I need one more piece of wood. Yeah, I need 3. Just I burnt the pies last time and I was kind of surprised at that. Nice. I suppose the next thing on the agenda is material gathering. Like I said, we're kind of hurting for materials. Oh, we don't really have many brown bricks. Brown bricks. I'll have to make some. Don't have much granite to go around for the wharves. I forgot to take these out of here. I need way more copper just for the roofs. I think I've only got 8 pieces of copper nuggets. Need to find chalk. Gotta do that. Where do I even put all these, man? It's a lot. You know what? It's a great day outside. There's no clouds out. How about I go make some tea, and then I'll get back to you guys. So I've been holding on to this tea that I got from Quebec City about a year ago. It's just Nepali black tea. I bought it because I'm like, I never see tea from Nepal. Been waiting for the perfect moment to try it, and you know, I guess that perfect moment is now. I smell this. That is really strong. To be honest, I just expected it to smell like black tea, like normal black tea, but it does not. It's got like a pu'er-y kind of smell to it, maybe. I'm gonna do a lot. It says to go for about 3 to 4 minutes. Huh. That sinks right to the bottom. Normally it floats. So 3 to 4 minutes for about 95 Celsius. Now I boiled it, but it's cooled off a little bit since then, I'm sure. Now it's a beautiful day out. There really is. There's no clouds at all. Daisy, come here. Come here. Say hi, Daisy. She really likes that. Like tea. This music is again written by Tristin, otherwise known as Wordy, whose channel is in the description. Thank you, Tristin. Anyway, that's probably like 3 minutes. Can you see these leaves? These look like they could be re-steeped again. All right, I'm gonna try my best to be a sommelier here. I'm gonna try it plain with no honey and no cream. I don't know if you can see it. It's really red. It's definitely got like a pu'er flavor to it. Although not many people have had pu'er, it's hard to describe. Tea leaves have a very specific flavor, and usually we mask them with other added flavors, like Earl Grey. You know, it's mostly bergamot oil that you're tasting. Sweet tea is mostly sugar, etc. But this is a really, really pure form of tea. It's because those leaves are so big, you know? There's a lot of surface area, which means that they put off a lot more flavor. I like that a lot. You could gong fu this stuff. All right, well, now time to try it with honey, because I love honey. It's really a beautiful color.
Yeah, I've probably done this 50 times now in videos. I like though one day when I get a house to have like multiple camera angles so you can see it from above and from the side. I think that would be cool. Join the membership, support the camera fund. All right, I'm gonna try it with the honey. It's really hot out. Personally, I'm just used to drinking tea with honey. This doesn't expand the flavor very much. And I think that hardcore tea enthusiasts would be very mad at me for putting honey in something this good quality. I almost wonder if I prefer it without. To the extent where I might hold on to these leaves and make another cup after this. But I'm gonna experiment a little bit more. I have some oat milk here. This is not like seed oil oat milk. It's better quality stuff. It tastes a little different. Forgive me. I'm a Starbucks girl at heart. That's nice. Now after putting the oat milk in here, I can't help but feel like the best sweetener for this tea is not honey, but probably like maple syrup or brown sugar. I feel like that would be a lot better. It almost reminds me of like a marshmallow, sort of. It would just benefit from more cream and like maple syrup. But I still like this. I like the milder flavor. Typically, this isn't what you go with for a tea this caliber. You drink it plain over and over by re-steeping the leaves a lot. So that's what I'm going to do next. I still like it this way though. Maybe I'll add some maple syrup once I get inside. Anyway, thanks for enjoying this tea with me.
All right, I added a little bit of maple syrup, a teaspoon. I like it. I be liking it. I do think that the best way to enjoy this tea is plain. That is my verdict, with nothing added, full-bodied, full-leafed, all that stuff. So I kept the leaves. I'm gonna re-steep it later. Anyway, I need more red clay, which means I'm gonna chip away at this deposit. Dug a lot out of here. There's a big hole in the ground here. Even having a steel shovel, it still feels slow. You know something I just thought of? It'd be cool if there was a game mechanic in the future that allowed you to carve wooden handles, like nicer wood handles. Because we always just use the same sticks. If you see, this steel shovel head is just kind of tied onto here, like this. It'd be neat if you could carve specialty handles like later on or from more durable types of wood. I don't know how you would work that into the progression, like getting kinds of hardwood, linden or willow or something. Maybe even metal handles. That'd be crazy. Wonder how many can actually fit in here. I'm sure I'm probably overdoing it. How many doors do I need to open for brown? 3? Okay. I don't think I can stack these up into the chimney, so I'll just leave it like that. Just a little more. Can't even see in there. 1 door open, 2 door open. Looks like 3 doors are open. Boom. So the next thing on the agenda after this is to grab up some granite. To be honest, I'm kind of tired of using granite. I use it for everything. It's the most common stone type. What I wish I could do is like conglomerate or something, which is like an off gray. Look at that. I kind of like that color. Even so, granite it is. Now, I said most common, but it's not the easiest to reach. If I remember correctly, the nearest source of granite is underground. Huh, it's raining. Let me just drop some of these tools I know I'm not gonna need. You know what I was wondering lately? I'm always growing crops up here. This time I have a little bit of diversity. Cabbage, flax, I have pineapples growing again, peanuts for some reason, more flax and some rice. We've got this greenhouse up here. That's not actually a functional greenhouse. I don't need it to be functional. But I have all this glass here and I was wondering, why don't I just take this down so it can get rained on and I don't have to water it? This is nearly at 0.5% of moisture. I'm wondering, what happens if I just break the block directly above? What'll happen? Seems like it's not really changing much. My question is, specifically, if I have this one removed, will all the ones around it also get moisture? Set this here for now. Alright, time for granite mining. There's a teleporter down here. Ooh, I left one. Last time I was here, I guess. don't know how much I'm gonna need. I should probably just grab a crap ton and fill my inventory. If I remember correctly, in this mine shaft, there's a huge vein of Pentlandite. Right there. Yeah, nickel ore. So here's what's interesting about nickel ore. You could combine this with copper to make cupronickel. And then cupronickel is used to make like certain endgame materials. Like rickety translocator, terminus teleporter. I think this teleports you to your last death location. Base return teleporter returns you back to your base without killing you. Resonator, it's like a jukebox. And then like a night vision mask. Now, I don't see anybody ever use any of these. They're very late game. Like pretty far into the late game. I've got 6 years in this world. I've never even made any of it. It is interesting though. I do want to try some of that stuff out if possible. At least by the end of the year. And I know where to get it. Which is nice. Have you guys ever used that stuff before? What do you think about it? I feel like the devs are planning on expanding that area of the game a lot more in the future. Well, I died multiple times down there. I really need to close that mine due to lack of safety. You know something? I visited a mine in Upper Michigan way out in the middle of nowhere. It was closed down, but it was an iron mine. I think one of them was supposedly the deepest iron mine in the country, like 2,000 feet or 4,000 feet. I'm really bad with remembering numbers. Here's a picture of it. I'm getting hungry and I'm out of food. That means it's time to fish. For some reason, I lost my other fishing rod, so I had to make a new one. Let's grunt for worms. Well, hello. I don't know how worm grunting works. I don't mean the real life counterpart. I mean how this works mechanically within the game. Because like every once in a while worms come out, I'll just do every block adjacent. Is it like a radius? If I go outside of a certain radius, do they spawn more consistently? What happens if I kill them? Oh, they just... Okay. This is like one of those myths that Bosmic should test. That's what I think. Have you guys seen his myth-busting videos? One thing I learned from him, which I had no idea about, I really thought this was the opposite, is that sprint jumping is actually faster than just running. It doesn't feel that way. It feels like running without jumping is faster. That's why I would always like try my best to jump as little as possible when I sprint, because I thought it was faster. But no, sprint jumping is slightly more efficient. It does consume more satiety, but it gets you there just a little bit quicker, I guess. Fascinating stuff. I don't think I could just grunt the same block over and over. It doesn't seem to work. Yeah, not working. Something else I learned about worm grunting in Vintage Story is that if the temperature goes below freezing, it's impossible. And I wonder what determines how much worms you get. Is it weather, climate, exterior temperature, type of soil? What makes the difference? Got us about 12 worms. Now there are better kinds of fish bait, but they require the new crops that were added in 1.22, licorice and fennel. I actually found licorice recently, just like randomly. I just found some. I got like 2 seeds of it in my house, so the next time I grow something, I'll grow it. It's really stupid, but I didn't know licorice was a plant. I knew fennel was a plant, and I kind of thought that like fennel was what was used in licorice, or is it black licorice? Maybe it was anistar. I don't know. Anyway, if you grow those, you can combine them with pieces of meat to make better fish bait. Anyway, I'm getting hungry, and I can't eat these worms. All right, here we go. If you're wondering why I'm not wearing pants, I don't know. I lost them. What'd I get? Dead chub. That's not good. There might not be a lot of fish in here. I might have fished them all away. See if we can upgrade this fish into something better. Okay, this is taking too long. Let's try over here. Kinda cloudy out, huh? Jeez. Literally nothing. Okay. There are some lakes over here that supposedly have fish. One day I would like to make a new world. It's not like there's anything wrong with this one. There's just no oceans and there's just no fish anywhere. But it is an old world. The idea of making a new one and starting the caveman experience from scratch appeals to me. What also appeals to me is sticking to one world for a very long time, right? Man, they are not biting. Alright, I switched it out with a worm. Yay! Alright, I'm gonna have to eat a raw piece of this eventually, probably. Can I make a fish pie? Look, I'm starving. Gotta love food and security. I should have just gone hunting. Alright, this is not working. I was hesitant to try hunting because I've only got like 5 arrows. 2 of these are crappy arrows. I need to make some steel arrows. I think that would be cool, right? Once I have some kind of refinery going on over here, I can make more steel finally. But I'm gonna save that for another video. Yummy, yummy. Oh, filled my hunger bar all the way up. These still are taking a while to grow. The cabbages are about halfway done. And before I go hunting, these bricks are most certainly finished cooking. Yay! Kinda curious how many I ended up getting. 10 stacks and 8 extra. I mean, that should be good. A little bit over here, too. I don't even have any room over here. Alright, hold on. Not the most efficient way of storing bricks, but it'll have to do for now. Brown brick tower, brown brick tower. Brown brick tower, brown brick tower. Look how big that brown brick tower is. Can't even see me next to it. Gorgeous. Brown brick tower goes up to the clouds. It's a brown brick tower. Alright, time for some big game hunting. Well, I killed 1 goat. Got a little bit of red meat. But I haven't found much else around here. There are these mushrooms, though. Look at this is reishi. Isn't that one, like, spiritual goober mushroom? People make coffee out of it. I don't know, maybe it's good. Never tried it. You know, who knows a lot about mushrooms is Kurzar. I'm not the guy. Hey! Where'd you come from? I can't eat that. Stop running. Slate, limestone. Look at this. There's a little streak of granite right here. Maybe I could mine for it there instead. Ooh, I see something. Looks like a deer. There's a rabbit right there. Dang it. Yes, got him. Not the best, but it'll do. And there are boat horns here, for some reason. I'm busy. Yes. Oh! I've got 2 bandages, thankfully. Oh. Where'd you go? Stop following me. Huh? Is there any fruit on these? They're fruiting that's not ripe. This is lychee. Have I ever eaten lychee before? I don't know. There's more mushrooms. There you are. Need an eagle eye for this. Oh, shoot. Dang it. Oh, I'm starving. Finally, got that one. I thought it was a marsh deer. It's a chital deer. Chital. Alright, I know there's another guy nearby. Oh, look, one of those underground caves. Oh, it's a red river hog. These guys are wild. No match. Okay, things are looking up. There you are. Don't you dare run. Don't you... Hey! Ooh, thank goodness for these spears. I think this will be good for now. I'm really ready to get to building, so I'll go cook and I'll catch up at the lighthouse foundation. Okay, so I got the food situation sorted. Now I just have to worry about it hailing. I started putting in this dock, and then I had a little bit of trouble, so I went to my sketchbook to figure it out. Look at this though. The hail like all settles in the bottom of the first water layer. See that? Isn't that strange? Chiseling in the water is difficult. So you know how I had those pillars up there I thought that were a cool idea? Well, I wanted to put them over here, and then I wanted one at the end. But of course I had to move it back a little bit so it's congruent with the rest of the thing. Because I've done that, then I had to figure out which way I have to evenly space each pillar, because this is across 2 blocks, and that will make it twice as expensive, and I don't want to do that. Apparently I'm too stupid to figure this out, all this math on my own, so I sketched it out in my sketchbook, and I think I have an idea of how this will work now, so... Okay, something like that, and then I don't really care how that goes into the rest of the wharf. It'll look fine. My only other issue is that it was really nice how these seams kind of lined up here before, but now they don't. Over here, because look, it's like some of them don't have split seams in the center. I know, it was like this, right? Kind of like that. Oh, this is going to be difficult without a raft. Every other one of these is like pushed in a little bit, I think. I'm gonna have to get creative with it. Ugh. That one's in. This one's out. I want this one to be in as well. Oh, it's getting dark. So I'll just make it a halfway point between these two. See that? Oh, what the heck? Yo, my temporal stability's been going down over here. Oh my goodness. It's like 64%. This has really been a head scratcher. I spent way too long thinking about this. Oh, brother. Maybe these pillars, though, do have to be... Oh, I forgot something. Not only is every other brick inset a little bit, but they're also staggered. Okay. I'm gonna have to worry about that tomorrow. Come, Elkrum. We ride. Look, right here, it's fine. Right here, it's fine. As soon as I go here, it starts to shrink exactly where the lighthouse is going to be, but just beyond where the lighthouse is going to be, we're fine. That's crazy. I always pick the worst spots. It's a good thing I don't live there, though, huh? Yo, earlier, I was walking my dog, and I have this app on my phone called Merlin. It's by the Cornell Lab of Ornithology, and it can recognize birds by their calls. So there was like some cardinals, and they were making different noises, based on the time of the year, and I was kind of curious what it was. And I was playing it, letting it identify what birds it was. It was cardinals, as I said. And then there was this big caw, right? And it was so loud, it was very sudden. Merlin picked it up immediately because it was already recording, and it said it was a green heron. I've never seen a green heron before, but it sounds really interesting. It was only calling every like 5 minutes, and I couldn't find it. Now, a lot of birds really do remind me more of dinosaurs than others. It was just cool, something neat. Anyway, checking on our experiment here. Look at that, 100% moisture, but around here, no improvement. It's all the same. The reason I was curious about this experiment is because I have these pillars here that would block the rain. I was wondering if they would be watered anyways, just by being adjacent. But I guess not. Oh well. I like how the glass looks. I'll just leave it for now. Eventually I want to have like wheat fields on the exterior of the village once I have like a wall of some kind around it. No, I probably shouldn't have a wall, actually, that would block your ability to see it, right? Yeah, probably not, huh? Sometimes when I sleep in this bed, I wake up outside. Wow, there's the brown brick tower over there. Let me share with you something else I discovered here. You remember when I was making these, and I did it by putting slabs up against the wall like this, and then chiseling off the bottom half? Because I did it that way, there's no bottom seam here on any of them. That's because when you place it in this orientation, there's a top seam and a bottom seam, and I'm chiseling that part off. But if I place it like this and then chisel off this edge to make it the same size, it keeps that bottom seam and the top seam. So that's what I ended up doing for all the way around this dock here. I think it looks better. You know what I mean? I think it does look better. All right, let's get back to chiseling. Yeah. That looks a little better. I have a difference of just a pixel between some of these, but you know what? I think that it would look better to go even, like more of a difference like this instead. Something like that. That looks a little better. It doesn't line up quite the same way as it did in our model, but maybe the other sides will look nicer. And maybe I should have used different blocks for the pillars, huh? Now you can tell that this is the polished one because it's a little bit like this. Plus, I think I did the same thing with the seam. I placed it like this and chiseled off that side. I believe I placed it like this. Oh, yeah, there's no seam right there. Never mind. Well, you know, let's try it out. How does this look compared to what we have? Does that look better? You can really tell that it's polished just because of the slight color difference. Here's a crazy idea. Why don't I use some of these pre-chiseled granite rocks and just see if I like that better? Ah, that's interesting, actually. I kind of like that. I think I have to do the whole thing to really understand how I feel about it, though. Yeah, that is better. And yeah, it doesn't have the borders on them, but it stands out. And I guess that's what I wanted. I wanted it to stand out. All right, there's the wharf design. We'll have to do it all on this side. Have to do it up here. That's weird. Perfectly split cloud. It has been nearly a full day since I made my last recording. That's how long it took to make this freaking wharf, dude. And it's not even done. But I really like how it turned out. Let me try to give you a better angle. Boom. Look at this. I got a little crazy up here. I thought it'd be cool to put an arch, and it does look really nice. I do like how that looks. My only problem is that it's so the same texture. It's very plain compared to the rest of the stuff. You may also notice, though, that the brick underneath here has been equalized all the way across, and that's just because I tried it, and I really liked how this looked. Before it was random. Remember when it was random? And I kind of was at odds with that design. The initial design that I had, and I actually took it down, but it was back here-ish. You know, it was more like this because it was a small sample size. But when I put that into practice at a larger scale, it was too random, you know? So I did this, and I actually like how it looks. I also had this fun idea where I would put these little chess pieces here. Of course, they're not chess pieces. They're like bollards or whatever. Like you can tie your ropes to them from a ship or something. I think that's what they're for. I like bollards. Originally, they were taller. They were a slate rock and a slab on top, and I made a circle for them, but then I like the shorter version. It's actually 2 slate rocks because it spans across 2 blocks, like that. There's been a lot of fish in this lake lately, which makes me think that maybe at the end of the video, we can do a fishing trip. But you know something? This has taken way too long, and I'm not even done. Still have more details to finish adding. I guess the most important thing is that I finally have a platform to build the lighthouse on, and I wonder how long that's going to take. First, though, I want to try something. I spent so much of yesterday and today just mining more granite to kind of make this nice little gradient texture right here. Kind of like how this shows up on the map. It's kind of interesting. Maybe you can see there's a hole up there. It's a little foggy, but there is a hole in that mountain up there. I've been mining some of it out of. And while I was up there mining granite, I was getting these cracked granite rocks. And to my knowledge, you can't build anything with these like you can build with normal granite rock. But cracked granite is just like a feature. They're slightly more brittle than granite rock. And if you have cave-ins enabled, they can cause cave-ins a little easier. But other than that, they don't have a purpose. But I had an idea. I usually just break them and get rid of them. But what if I combine them into these things? Maybe give it a little bit more character. See what I'm saying here? So like if I remove this, put a cracked granite rock there. Let's copy the shape only, right? Boom. And I have to update it because of the lighting errors that seems to cause. But look, now it has a little more character. I feel like there's like a little bit of something different there. Isn't that cool? I kind of like that. So let's try this. It doesn't add too much, but it does break it up a little bit. If anything, it makes me wonder how this would look if it was all cracked granite. Like it is very light compared to everything else. Let's go crazy and just do both of these ones here. And this one. Why not? Just clog my inventory. That's interesting. Okay, so I think that when I tile it like that, maybe it will be a little too noticeable, the cracked patterns. But I still like how that looks, so I will definitely be incorporating some of this. But now this means I kind of have to reuse these other chiseled pieces. And that's fine, because I've got lots of space for them. Just stick them over here or something like that. Reshape them later. Alright, this is all well and good. But I think what I need to do is finally start in the lighthouse. I was debating, do I do the brick house or the lighthouse first? I think I should do the lighthouse and then build the brick house around it. And so I'm going to need chalk for that, which means I got to find it. That will not be easy to do, but it's possible. Let's look at the map here. And also, there's a little bit of an issue when recording moving this map around. I think it's because the frame rate of the map, for whatever reason, doesn't line up with the frame rate of the recording. So it flashes you guys, and I just always thought that was odd, but it looks normal and smooth for me. Let me remove all my prospecting points. Occasionally, when I was exploring, I would mark an area if it had a unique rock type. Like here, there's chert. There's also chert there. So I just wonder if I ever went through the effort to mark, chalk somewhere. I just don't know though. Limestone Hills, that's nearby. Oh, look at this. This is from when I tried to generate an ocean in this world and it just made a really ugly chunk boundary. That was on a copy. Even if you make a copy of the same world, it shares the same map data, which is interesting. Let's try over here. Why not? Let's go east. Maybe we'll find something interesting. Saddle up, Elkrum. You might think all this beautiful white sand around me must indicate chalk, right? No, it's limestone. It's off-white. It's not white. A lot of the time, it feels like colors really are relative. Sometimes I mistake granite for andesite and limestone and other stuff all the time. Which depends on the lighting. Now we're getting somewhere that seems to be a little laggy. Look at that. Because of all the foliage, maybe? The ocean line's up here, but I might be reloading all these chunks for the first time. That's because I reset my chunks a while ago when the new update happened. Because I did that, they were all deleted. So the map was not reset, as the map is just, I think, a separate image that gets written with data. But the chunks here are being generated over again using the same seed information, of course. I think that was causing some lag here and there. Which keeps reminding me I have to order a new GPU. Keep forgetting to do that. Anyway, it's been literally nothing but limestone, like the entire time, just limestone. It's kind of crazy. We're getting to the edge of the map soon, though. Just a little bit further. Oh, yeah. This is new terrain. Look at that. Pretty out here, too, eh? I like these wetlands. Oh, conglomerate. Hey, that's cool. I don't see much conglomerate around here, actually, ever. That's darker. We need to go lighter. The color doesn't really work on a gradient that way. It's more like stone type, rather than stone color, that determines what's going to come next. Now, crossing all these lakes reminds me, a little bit earlier, when I was building the wharf. Look, is this slate? Shale. Huh, cool. I should mark this stuff down. A little bit earlier, when I was building the wharf, I was also hunting for some more animals, and I chased a deer across the big lake. And I killed it, and I wanted Elkram to come back to me, so I blew the whistle, and, you know, he starts walking to me. He was across the lake, so he had to cross the lake. And I didn't see him. It was so weird. I was looking out, and I did not see him at all. I even looked on the map, and I saw his marker moving across, but I didn't see him. And then I had a horrifying realization. He was underwater, just walking on the bottom of the lake. And because he was doing it that way, he was drowning. And he had never done that before, poor guy. But I had to go down there and start riding him, and he wouldn't get off the bottom of the lake. He wouldn't swim up. I had to get as fast as possible to the other side of the lake, and I narrowly got him to survive. He had like 5 health left. It's the closest to death Elkram has ever been. So that's kind of wild. And I think the reason that happened is because of the mod that I have, Elk Physics Overhauled, which allows me to traverse over hills and stuff easier. I believe that is the reason that occurred. Anyway, here's a trader I just found. Hi, Denef. Ooh, look at all this wallpaper. Charred, narrow planks. That's cool. Look at all this wallpaper. Neat. Building materials traders are cool. I didn't bring my money with me, actually. Maybe I should have. Ah, that didn't work. At least we finally found some new stone types. I'm glad that I found conglomerate. You know, something I don't like about the south in Vintage Story is this kind of like washed out grass color that's everywhere. It's worse now since we're in a savanna. I just don't care for it. I do miss winters. It's a pretty big lake. This is a really big lake. Look at that. That's cool. Can't even see the edge of it on the map. More shale. I see ruins over there. I mean, that looks like shale over that way. Look at this terrain generation. Also, look at these. I found some really cool black mushrooms. Never seen those before. They're called black trumpets. I should take a sample since I'm over here. Poor cassiterite, very poor native copper, minuscule magnetite, so nothing really good. Getting home is gonna suck. We're so far. You know what I had to do to make this more interesting for you guys? I'll turn this into a cinematic journey. God. Ooh, cinnamon ferns. Pineapple plant. Oh wait, no, these are crotons. This is new. Maybe if I get lucky, I'll find a breadfruit tree. Whoa, sun bear. We go mano-y-mano with the sun bear? You're not very frightening. I've never seen a sun bear. So long for the frickin' cinematic journey. Raw sun bear hide with head. There's a sun bear hide helmet. I mean, that's very close, if not the exact same as the black bear hide helmet. That looks literally the exact same. I don't see a single difference. Maybe the color. Oh, well, I guess I'm taking it. That was crazy. I always wanted to find one of those. They're small. Also, these bamboo shoots, you can eat them. If you cook them, of course, but they are edible. Oh wait, no, you don't have to cook them. Look at that. How could you ever starve in a place like this? I really need to get out of here. Oh, I should have gone around the bamboo forest. Okay. Look how many different types of freaking crotons there are. Why are there so many? Dark green gold, small dark green gold, small dark green gold crimson, medium crimson green, small brown green, small crimson green. Oh my lord. Alright, I think I'm gonna have to just wander my way out of here. There's no way Elkram is gonna make it. I can't even make it. It's interesting how this bamboo tapers off at the top. See how it gets smaller? There's a mod that does that for trees in Vintage Story called Echo Machina, and I get it recommended to me a lot, but I was actually watching the development progress of it. Seems really cool. Oh, now I've got even more. Maybe I need to have a croton museum. All the different crotons you can get. Wow, there's a lot. Oh, butterfly. This forest is gonna eat me, dude. I left my axe at home, and because I did that, I can't break the bamboo. It requires a tool to break. Ooh, an orange tree. I was hoping it was a breadfruit tree. That's like the best tree you can get for fruit. I think we're getting to the end. Oh, yes. I made it out. I never want to do that again. Oh, it's a cherry tree. A lot of fruit trees over here. Hold on. Just keep thinking maybe one of them is a breadfruit. It's not. It's a yellow apple. A trader right here. What's your problem? A Hanu. Commodities merchant. I don't care. Huh. It's just granite, bauxite, and probably like claystone or something. But look at this. Tin ore, open in the air, and what else? Translocator just right here. That's cool. It's a pretty big one too. Got anything good? I like that painting. I know you can sell these age crates for like 1 gear. I don't know, I don't care. Limonite. That is another type of iron ore. An axe. Normally I wouldn't take the axe, but maybe it would help our bamboo problems. This needs like machine parts first. And you used to be able to get them by breaking these junk metal piles. Oh, okay, you still can. Alcrum has 3 temporal gears on him right now. You know what's interesting? This is very aged wooden planks, but then up on the wall here is aged oak slab. So I feel like these slightly larger translocator rooms are from the newer update specifically because they added these aged oak slabs with them, you know. Before it was just this old wood type. Yay, it works now. Let's give it a second. Maybe we can find a place with chalk. Might as well get this cassiterite while I'm waiting for it to load. Of course, this turned into a mining trip. Ultra high cassiterite in this area. I don't think I've ever seen that kind of rating for cassiterite in the south. Alright, here we go. Of course, we are underground. Got some gears for a trouble. Where are we? Alcrum's this way. Well, that's helpful. I'll mark that one like yellow or something. Mark this one yellow here with a similar one. Makes things easy for us. How deep underground are we? We're at 102. That's pretty deep, isn't it? Pretty big cave. I see some neighbors. Hello. Oh, why are you bothering me? It's the HOA. They don't want my kind in their neighborhood. Ah! Alright. Choke point. Ow. It's down there. Not chalk. What's up here, though? Maybe this is where I need to go. Holy crap. There's another translocator in here, dude. Well, I don't have enough this time. This is a really different one. Must be another new ruin. Lots of gears. Lots of gears. Don't mind if I do. Coke. I literally don't have anything I can use to fix this. Magnetite, native copper. Not much of either. I'm just gonna go back to where I was, because we were about the same exact height over there. Wonder how long this is gonna take. I hear a sniffer. Sneaker. What are they called? Oh. Yay! Andesite. Andesite clear to the top. I can't even see anything. Shiver. That's what it was. It's too dark to tell what even is here. I should have just kept going on Elkrum. Maybe if I get high enough, I can see a light from a trader somewhere. It's crazy my lantern lights up that far. But if I put it away, I can't see a thing. Ain't no thing but a chicken wing. There is nothing. No traders. Nothing. Maybe I just need to sit here and wait till day. It's safe enough. Hey, there's something over there. Looks like a little trader settlement to me. Alright. Oh. I remember I'm not on the Elk. Sure do hope I remember where I mined out of, because, boy, that would be rough. Oh, it would just be so rough now. It'd be so rough if I couldn't remember where I mined up, eh? That'd be a bit of a foolish thing to do, eh? Oh, right up here. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to bump into you there. Leo. I don't need any of this stuff. Here's a place to spend the night. My bed now, Leo. Aha. Oh, cool. Earthquake. Well, there's still no freaking chalk. I was kind of hoping I would have enough karma where I could, like, come out here and then maybe I'd have to wait till day, but I'd finally look out and I'd see a giant chalk desert or something. Whoa. Well, that's just some kind of savanna. It doesn't look like chalk to me. Looks like limestone. Again, man, it looks like limestone. It could be chalk. Alright, this is definitely limestone. There's no way that this is chalk. These mountains are crazy over there. You know something? My inventory's so full. I guess I would make room. See if I can summon Elkram. Probably not. We are very far away. Venusaur world terrain generation is really crazy sometimes. I mean, that is wild looking. Hey. That's something. Maybe there's chalk in here, huh? Ooh, an aged bed. I already found one of these, but those are actually quite good to have. Aged children's toy. Little owl chest. Aged owl treasure chest. Seed vessel. What am I doing? Ooh, pumpkins. Ooh, torch holder. Ooh, a reed chest. Ooh, a crock. Wow, this is like the ultimate survival find. What do I throw away now? I guess I'll throw away one of the croutons. I had to take one of these suckers as well, just because it's rare. Alright, people. I will just have to keep looking. I'll let you know when I finally find some chalk, though. I recently learned this trick from a YouTuber I watch called TrigTube. He's a cooking YouTuber. I like to cook with garlic a lot, but then, you know, your fingers smell like garlic for days after, even if you wash them real good. The reason is, I guess whatever compound garlic uses is really sticky. Or bonds with skin. So apparently, best way to just remove that is wipe your fingers against stainless steel when you're washing your hands. And most sinks are made of stainless steel because that steel bonds to those compounds and it just pulls it right off you. And I tried it and it worked like immediately. It was crazy. Anyway, here we are, this beautiful basalt desert. I have not seen basalt yet. And you may notice we're not east anymore. We're quite far west. Yeah, I went so far. I spent the rest of the day until midnight traveling. I stopped marking stuff after a while because it's just like, what's the point? I'm never going to come back here. It's so ridiculously far. And then I just kind of gave up because for goodness sakes, I just kept finding the same stuff over and over again. And my inventory was full. So I went back home. I dropped off all the croutons or whatever the hell they were and emptied my inventory. Came out this way. Now we're searching again and I found basalt. So that's something that's kind of rare, I guess. I haven't seen that one yet. I think this cactus has fruits. Look at that. Saguaro fruit. But the reason I'm recording here now, instead of finally getting to the point with the chalk that I haven't found, is because of this little hill. Now, I've clocked this from like a mile away, because this is the new dungeon that was added to the game. This is the procedurally generated dungeon. Now, normally, in a world, You're locked out of these until you access copper because it requires copper to break into. It's covered in dry stone. But we're pretty far into the game, so... This is a rusted heavy gate. I kind of wonder if I could... Dang it, I can't take it with me. Oh, I'll take these torch holders with me. Wow. Apparently these can be quite large, and they're not even super dangerous. This is so cool. I wish I could get it back. Alright, here we go. I actually don't really know what to expect. Maybe they are dangerous. I don't really wear armor. I find it more freeing to be naked. Alright. This is fun. I could just kind of light it up as I go. Welcome to the dungeon. Ooh. I believe I've seen this room specifically on a Reddit post. I think if I go down here and dig a little bit into the waste pile, I can find Terraria. What the heck? Game block air. Game block air. That was weird. Game block air. How do I break air? Very easily, apparently. Yeah, look. Terraria. Like, poop flood. Supposedly, these are still a little bit more like proof of concept. They're not quite finished yet, but that's one thing that should probably be addressed. It's weird that there's air blocks, you know? Interesting. Never been in one of these, only seen pictures. This is cool. They did a really good job decorating. I believe it was Elvas who made these. Ooh, large copper lantern. These are rare now. Forgotten Noble Shoes. Do you see that? It says Forgotten Noble Shoes. I'm looking at a bed. Huh. Wait, can you store stuff underneath the bed? Yeah, you can. I didn't know you could do that. Ruined base lard. Cool sword. I'll take that. Cool door. Look at this ruined saber. Cracked ashlar blocks. So this is a new one. I have not ever seen these before. I didn't even know these existed. Cracked granite ashlar. That is a really cool looking block. I am taking these. You know I am. Aged ashlar looks a lot different than these. I'm actually going to take this aged chest just because it's cool looking. Aged polished cobbled rock. See, runes are unique. You know, you can get stuff that you can't craft from them, and I like that. It reminds me of beta Minecraft a little bit. This is what we're doing instead of finding chalk. I want to get on with it already. This is too cool. I can't pass this up. My room's cleared, I guess. Well, this one to the left. Huh. Yeah, aged granite ashlar. This stuff's pretty good, actually. I've always, I think, wanted to find granite ashlar. I just never have been able to. I know that's the floor. I'm just kind of stealing the floor. When I look at dungeons like this, I see building opportunity, you know? Can I take this armor stand? I can. I could just take it. Oh, look, I accidentally put on the Forgotten Noble shoes. These are what I had on before, shepherd sandals. These are neat. Oh, hey, our first visitor. I don't think he was doing anything with this stuff. Never invite a monster into your house. He'll leave with the floorboards. Trampled earth with linear tracks. What does that even mean? Trampled earth. That is a unique color. Reminds me a little bit of brown wattle and daub. Are these close to each other? They're pretty close. This is a big room. What is this? Look at that. It's like a giant oven in the center. Oh, cool. Is this like, maybe it's like a giant forge and look, it's pouring something into these molds like bars. It looks like it was in the middle of pouring out metal and it stopped. Can you guys see? That's pretty cool. I might actually have to come back here. I mean, there's so much neat stuff here. I can't possibly take it all, but I'm hoping to bring home frickin' chalk. Uneven large fireclay bricks. Oh no. What's inside of here? Now I feel kind of bad tearing it up like this. I was hoping I could get those as a block, apparently not. Sometimes these crates do have something in them. Mold with the chalkos ingot. Whoa. It's cool. I could open those bellows. They must have not been ruined yet. Jonas Sub-Assembly. That is one that I have never found. Ooh, aged oak log. I'll take that. Maybe I should take these bandages too. There's a lot of other rooms in here. Huh. Ooh, painting forest dawn. It's like got rabbits. Sometimes I really love the lore of this game. What's this way? Looks like there's some blocks stuck in the ceiling. This looks like there's a pit right there. There's an interesting comparison to be made between Vintage Story and Minecraft when it comes to ruins. All this cool stuff you see around here is like aged, old, and you can't retrieve it. If you break it, it goes away forever, right? And if you use glue, you can retrieve it, but it's only used as decorational. So when it comes to Minecraft, all this stuff is usually usable, and you know that's well and good. But it's also, it means it's kind of overpowered a lot of the time, in my opinion. This is, I think, a nice way to balance things. There's a lot of beds in here. This is where everybody lived, I guess. This just goes on forever. Ruined lenses. Ruined assembler. What does that even mean? Ooh. Very aged wooden planks. Not to be confused with the aged oak planks. If I was in the process of collecting this kind of stuff, I would do it, you know. Ooh, pants. Hooray! Dirty linen trousers. Just what the doctor ordered. Oh wait, survivor pants. Should I wear these instead? I guess I can only pick one. I like those better. Shepherd sandals. I'll just replace my old sandals with those because they're better condition. Rot walker boots. Let me scarf down all this grain so I can make room. Kind of like those better than my noble shoes. They're big boots. I'll take them with me. Huh. I keep hearing monsters, but don't see any. Maybe I really do need to come back here sometime. There's a lot of good stuff here, and I'm not even looking for it. Huntsman tunic. Gotta have a huntsman tunic. Ooh. Found another scroll. Maybe I should just read this scroll and then throw it away and then read the other scroll. Act 1, Scene 1. A large study filled with charters and packaging. Odwin at his desk working intently. Enter Traveler suddenly. Traveler observes Odwin in his study for a few moments. Odwin has not noticed him. Traveler. I can see you've spent quite a lot of time here. I'm not doing that. Odwin startled. What? Who? See here now? Who's there? Who stands before me? If you have no appointment, be gone from my office. I have no time for the rabble. Traveler. I wonder if you might reconsider. How different are you from them? What are you worth as weight in full? Odwin, I can't understand what you mean. Just look out there. Look at the people digging for worms, digging for carrots and iron. I've risen above that through my own work. Why be a grub when you could be a lion? What does it matter if they suffer as a result? The lion does not cry over its meal. Perhaps you're right, sir, though I cannot but hope for otherwise. What a cruel world you paint yourself in. I wonder what will you do when a greater lion comes hungry for you. Indeed, he will not cry for you. Must you then cry alone at the end? Odwin. What sentiment is this? We are alone from the beginning. Should I encounter an overwhelming foe, it is my own weakness that I have to blame. Exit Traveler suddenly. Of course no one will weep for me. Ah, but he is already gone. Exunt. What's this other one? Blind Black Rickard. Never go into caves. Never go under the ground. Haven't you heard the story of Blind Black Rickard? Haven't you heard the story of Blind Bat Rickard? He was a young boy just like you lot. Curious, rambunctious, and ready for adventure. Some say he was born in one of the villages around here. Well, there wasn't much to do in the fields for a boy like that. He couldn't be bothered with tilling the soil or gathering wheat. One year, as it came to be harvest season, he decided to slip away while everyone else was working. He knew his father would be furious, but Rickard was a greedy boy, and he wanted his adventure. After a long day of trapezing through the heath and forest, young Rickard had had a great deal of fun, and now the wrath of his father was clear in his mind. He was terrified of going home, so he decided he would stay out for the night and give his father time to calm down and worry about him. Now, he wasn't very bright, but he wasn't very stupid either. He at least knew better than to be caught roaming about at night. By the time the sun was almost gone, he had stumbled upon a deep, well-hidden cave and decided he would pass the night there. Well, I have to find the other 8 parts if I want to know what happened to Blind Bat Rickard. Seems like a fun story to tell your kids. So many rooms. So many rooms. Easy to get lost down here, huh? Alchemist pants. Are these ones nicer? They are. I kind of like them just because they're shorts. I hate that I don't have room for all these clothes. You know what? I should just leave. I should just leave and come back. These dungeons are really cool after all. I'm sure it's night outside. Alright, well, this is a really cool dungeon. We got 2 vessels here, so I am actually going to fill these up with all the stuff that I got while I was there that was cool, that I don't necessarily need to take back with me. I don't necessarily need to take any of this with me, but it's just cool to have, so I'll hold on to it. Elkram can hold my other stuff. He's got some room on his packs. Hey, look, obsidian, what the heck? Have I ever found that here before? I don't know. Anyway, hey, look, there's a place to stay over there. Hello, trader. Axe, that's a cool name. Oh, I can't sleep in his bed. Never mind, I guess. Just have to stick out the night. Look at this funky little tree doing the Jesus T-pose. It just beheaded itself. That's weird. There are these white rocks in the ground, chalk stones. Can you freaking believe it? I am much further north than I was before. That's because I had a theory. I've only ever found chalk like north, and I was continuing along the same latitude or longitude? Same line of latitude. That's what I meant. And I was just always seeing the same stuff. My thought was if I went north, maybe I'd find chalk again, because that's where I found it in the past. And lo and behold, I was correct. It took 15,000 blocks of traversing to get here. It's not like I'm doing anything with my life anyways. But hooray, chalk. Well, that's all broken chalk. We don't want that. Notice that the mountains are like a little more orangey here. Getting closer to the north, it's just a little bit colder. Look at that, huh? Oh, I just gotta find a good spot for a mine. Probably any of these, really. You know what else I see over here? Some, like, chalk ruins. Look at this one, huh? This is neat. Maybe I can grab some unique blocks from here, since I am here, you know. Yeah, look at that. Chalk dry stone. Technically, this is craftable. I don't know if I have a use for this specifically, but it is expensive to craft, as I've learned with building the granite wharf, so I'm just going to bring it with me. Ooh, aged polished chalk rock. It looks like if I dig down far enough, it is just solid chalk, so that should be making life a little easier for us. Oh, look, this is aged ashlar. Some of it is. It's another rare block. Maybe I just need to dig down here. Looks like chalk to me. My inventory's so full of crap. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna do kind of like a strip mine, just like you would do in Minecraft, sort of. The intention is to obtain as much rock as possible. If I miss some, I will be very sad, because I'll have to come all the way back here. So you kind of mine like this. This is the way to do it. And then you do this zigzag pattern. Both sides. I'm going to do the same zigzag pattern on this side. And then the top layer is just dirt, so we can just break the dirt off. And that'll pop these rocks free, which I can't pick up because my inventory's full of crap. Yay, chalk rock. That's what we're here for, baby. Rinse and repeat. I can go a layer lower, start breaking this one. That'll free it off. You're basically mining it in sort of a zipper pattern. I learned this from the official public server. At spawn, at least in the old one before the reset, they had a guide station that showed you how to do certain things in the game. That was pretty neat. I learned that this is the most efficient way to mine rocks. Anyway, you guys know the drill. Next time you see me, we'll finally be building impossible circles. You might be wondering, when's this circle coming? Right now. Alright. That's a decent amount of chalk. I broke my steel pick on that. Here's the thing about this wharf. I actually wanted to put some stairs here in one of these little sections. I just wasn't sure where to do it. And then once I do that, I'll have to mirror all these so that this is on the right side, because that's what I do down here. If you've noticed, they're mirrored because it comes off of that thing. Just a nifty solution to make the corners work. But I was waiting because I wasn't sure where like the rest of this building is gonna go. Like I'm not exactly sure where the lighthouse is gonna go. I'm just gonna guess. I have an idea on like how to make a circle shape. I just don't know like where it needs to go. So I'm thinking I'm gonna mostly mimic the Devil's Island lighthouse, just because it is a very unique looking lighthouse. Whenever someone builds a lighthouse in like Minecraft or even Vintage Story, I guess, they kind of always do the same thing. You know, it's like a very steep cone, there's swirls around it, then you have your topper. But lighthouses all over the world are actually very diverse in design, and so that's why I'm going to try something a little different. Gotta represent the other lighthouses of the world. This is the base for the circle. Just by looking at this, I can tell I'm gonna have to move this back. That's okay though, I'll do that later. The mission right now is to carve this into a perfect circle. That is not going to be easy, actually. Actually, I think I'm going to pull up a circle drawing tool just to make my life easier. Assuming that every single block can be whittled down into 16 by 16 by 16 little cubes, that means that what I have here right now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks wide, which is 128 little voxels. Okay, this is massive. I might have even overestimated like how I gotta line out all these. 4, 3, 3, and it's 2, 2, 2, 2. 2, 1, 5. I think this is accurate. There we go. That looks like a nice circle. I just need to continue this design as far up as I think it should be continued, and also move it into a proper place, wherever that is. So I ended up doing a lot of work. I built a tower. I also built a base out of slate at a different ratio, so I had to carve a new circle. And then I realized that thing was way too freaking big. Way too big. I had made a base, a midsection, and then a topper that was slightly wider. So then I started experimenting with making a smaller version of the tower. And I tried to get all the textures of the chisel blocks to line up correctly because I was reusing the same blocks from the tower. That became such a mess, and I got so tired of it because it was so time consuming just to get it matched up. I started just throwing them away. And so this is what I got. There's just a mess of crap there. I threw a lot of them off the bridge. I'm just going to let them despawn. That's the size of the base. That's the size of the tower. And then I'm going to have another one on top, of course. Also, isn't it interesting how it started out being yellow and stuff, and then it went to this dark blue? It's kind of weird, right? I don't know. Anyway, I'm kind of out of food. Pretty sure I have one soybean. I haven't checked in on the garden or the animals in a while, so let's do that. Let's just see what they're up to. Let's see if I need to do any culling. Look at that. He's grown. So now we have a Generation 1 bighorn sheep. And look, all these pigs are here now. I guess they gave birth and then we made a bunch of other pigs. Somehow all the chickens ended up inside of here. I don't know why. One of them seems to be dead. Don't tell me they crushed each other to death. Oh, I bet you there was another rooster and they fought. That's what it was. Get out of here. Get. Go. Honestly, this reminds me of earlier I was throwing out all my chickens by this overhang near the barn because they were roosting where they're not supposed to. So I was trying to grab them and toss them back into their coop. That's a Generation 2 chicken right there. So we want to keep that one at least. That's a Generation 2 chicken. That's a Generation 1 chicken. I keep all the... Oop, that was the wrong one. There we go. I want to get rid of all the Generation 1 birds. And I guess that's what we're going to be eating. Get out of here. Except you. You stay. That was a Gen 1, I think. This is an original one right there. That's a Gen 0. I think that's good. 3 hens, 1 rooster. Wow, that is a lot of dead birds. Are they like climbing over the windowsill? And that's how they're getting in there? Maybe I need to double this up. The fencing. One just climbed in there. I wonder if it got in that way. Maybe that'll stop them from getting inside. Get out of here. Pretty soon we're gonna have to make a bunch of new steel tools. I am running sort of low on steel. Due in part to so many tools getting destroyed when trying to quench and temper. I'm starting to realize it's really, like, I think it is technically worth it if you do it a certain amount of times, you temper and quench for each tool. Like the amount of blocks you could possibly mine versus how many you could mine if you didn't do any at all. You know, it's technically more, but it's just so time consuming. I feel like if you break a tool, you should at least get some bits back. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't seem worth it as much. Anyway, got about 15 pieces of poultry, 1 egg, and a bunch of feathers. I guess the next thing I have to do is call all these pigs, call these guys as well. I think I have to get rid of one of the goats. The rabbits I haven't even fed yet. This does mean, though, I can refeed some of these animals. So here's another weird thing I'll tell you guys about. Those little troughs down there will only accept input from chutes from one side, if it's one of those double troughs. So that's just an interesting thing. Let's feed our birds again. Yummy. Keep them nice and fed. Not feeding the pigs. I am going to feed the goats. Alright, cool. Over here I know I got some berries growing. I have not really planted any fruit trees. I don't know why I haven't done that. I guess I'm just waiting for the proper moment to put them in their perfect spot. But I know there is a fruit tree over here and might have some. A wild one. Huh. Literally nothing. Cool. Wasn't there like a lychee tree over here or something? Here's another thing I've been thinking about. The elk is great, right? I love Elkrum. I'm realizing how kind of OP Elkrum is. I kind of liked running around everywhere. I don't know, like it feels like that part of my experience in the game is just now totally missing because I just ride Elkrum. I mean, as far as I know, it doesn't take any satiety to run around on Elkrum. I mean, he's the one doing it, which is all well and good. It's extra inventory space. He can run infinitely without getting tired. I don't have to even feed him. So I feel like all those things should be a thing, you know what I mean? He's also nearly indestructible. I've put him through some crap, and he has never died. They're going to add a lot of other mountable animals. Horses, moose even. Are these still not ready, ripe in 19 days? How is that possible? They're going to add a lot of other mounts. Camels and horses, right? Which is cool. I would think that each mount would have to have their own pluses and minuses, like maybe cost to get versus like points. Some can carry more, some are stronger, blah, blah, blah. Like the elk right now is just way OP. I feel like there needs to be, you know, some reason to just not constantly use it. That's something that definitely needs balance in this game. In a game that's all about balance, this really needs it. I mean, look, if there are any devs listening, which I know sometimes they do, I would suggest that you have to feed these guys. Right? Like they have to be fed, otherwise they won't run, or, you know, they'll get tired and die. I don't know. Probably not die. Look at this one's ripe in 29 days. That's weird. I feel like it's not moved at all. Maybe you need to feed them so they can keep up their energy. Maybe they have to rest every once in a while. They're not as buffed with health, you know, you have to be a little bit more careful when running around with them. That kind of stuff, right? Like maybe your elk just has to rest sometimes and you have to walk. You know what I mean? Because I literally ride my elk from my house to the barn. They're not that far apart. I ride Elkrum from here to here all the time. It's just slightly faster and there's no consequences. It saves me from having to eat as much and saves me slightly a little bit amount of time. Maybe some people will give the argument like just don't use the elk. I don't think that's a solution, you know, because as long as the easiest thing to do something exists, people are just gonna do that, right? Including myself. Anyway, I was just thinking about this earlier. I thought I would get it off my chest. The only other place I can think might have fruit. Wow, I didn't think I was going to catch that thing. I was also doing some tanning over here. I'll add this little tiny rabbit hide to this. Cool. It's just something I do in the background when y'all aren't looking. These vegetables should mostly be in. Looks like a lot of the flax isn't in yet, actually. Neither is much of the rice. Cabbage is done now. Let me water these guys. They've nearly sucked out all the potassium. Look at that, only 15-ish% potassium left in each block. These pineapple plants take forever, but they have like 8 slices of pineapple per plant, so it's kind of worth it. Plus, it's just cool. So all this flax is done, and all these cabbages are done. The flax is nice because it has a twofold purpose for me now. Of course, I get fiber, which I can turn into linen for the sailboat later, or the whatever project I have that requires linen, but also I can feed the grain to my animals because it's not a great grain for human beings. From just 3 peanut plants, I got 32 peanuts. I only planted 3 of these. That's crazy. I'm gonna eat some of this flax grain, just scarf it down. Are they really that good for you? These are protein. You can feed them to pigs. That's the only animal you can feed them to, so I will be eating these. But like, they're protein and so is meat, so technically within the game's logic, I can use this or red meat, you know? Alright, well, chicken dish first. Have some cabbage in here, and some fruit. Why not? And this one will just have a random meal in here. Use up the rest of the chicken. This is gonna take a minute, so let's hop on my limitless elkrum. I need to feed the rabbits, and I finally have some vegetables, and I really hate to feed them with cabbage because it's such a great vegetable. It is the most nutritious one at 300 saturation. But I didn't grow anything else that they might eat, foolishly, so I think they need 10 to reproduce or something like that. I don't know how many will fit in there at a time. I'll just put in 16. Maybe they can enjoy some of that, and we'll get more rabbits because that's what the world needs. This one's done. What else? Let's use up the rest of this red meat. This egg doesn't fit with that, I guess. Some mushroom. There we go. Single serving. The rest of this stuff, I suppose, I will store for later. Look, there's my single soybean. I think soybean is one of the only foods that you can't eat raw. You have to cook it. In this game, right? Alright, now we're fooded up. Next thing to do is finally get this tower working correctly. I'm looking forward to it, though. This is our progress so far. That is the messy base of the lighthouse tower. All those little blocks on it are for what I talked about earlier, where if you update a chiseled block that was copied, you'll remove any lighting errors that might be present, and there are some. So I've left those little blocks there when I've copied them, so I can go down in a row and just update all the blocks at once. But actually my hammer was very low, so I made a new one just in time, thankfully. I've got a few more tools that I need to make, so we're gonna do that. Let's see. Let's pump this sucker up to temp. The range of color of the ingots is so cool. Look at that. I wonder if it'll get white hot. Very close. I feel like it never wants to get there. But that's 1100 degrees. So I do need a knife. So if I quench this right now, I will get a power bonus on the knife. But honestly, I don't need a power bonus on the knife because that doesn't really do anything. So I am just going to let that cool off and not risk it. Let's do a pickaxe. I am going to risk quenching this one just because it's only one time, right? Cool. 10% power gain, that easy. That one cooled off a lot. Last thing I should probably make is like a shovel. Forging is really cool. Though I think I do agree with some of the complaints that the new system is getting. I mentioned them earlier. I feel like if you break something, you know, you should at least get some bits back. Otherwise, it's really not worth it to interact with it. Not too much, you know? Oop, put these other tools up here for now. I really need another stick for that knife. I feel like I find Elkrum over here a lot. Reason I think I do is because he might be pathfinding to the food troughs that are inside the barn. Elks do eat. I know I said that they should eat earlier, and they actually do. It just offers nothing from what I can tell. They don't need to. That doesn't really do anything. Hey, look. Another baby goat appeared out of nowhere. The rabbit's enjoying their meal. Oh, that rabbit's pregnant. I guess they did enjoy it. Anyway, now that I got my tools, I can go back to working on the lighthouse. I've been a tad distracted. Ever since I started this project, I've just been having videos going in my second monitor like crazy. I watched a dude get into beekeeping for the first time for 2 hours. I watched this channel called Off Grid Island. I watched a video about Aristotle's philosophy. I mean, it was really all over the place. Usually I listen to something when I'm doing something really grindy. So like when I was mining up there, that's a good time to listen to something. But really, when it came to building this, it was just distracting me and slowing me down. So today, I've just been listening to the game music, and it's been great. I've been able to think about it a little bit more. So this is what we've got so far. If you notice, I have this little lip underneath when it gets wider, and that's because that's how some of the images portray this thing. I've also got these suckers in the bottom. I think they look okay. The next step is to get a beam and attach it all the way to the top. And I realize that these are not quite the same color, but they're close enough, so that's okay. I think basically I just have to attach it all the way up there. Seems simple. I suppose the first thing I need to do is make some scaffolding. This thing is really tall, so I'm hoping that adding these extra details around the base help flesh it out some, you know? This isn't actually my first time building something circular. At my old base in this world, I built a windmill that was not only circular, it was conical. That was really fun. It was my first time trying to circularly chisel something. So I guess if you want to watch that video, go right ahead. Oh, that was dangerous. And you know what? While I'm at it, normally I guess I would ask you to subscribe, but I've been getting a lot of messages recently saying that even though people have subscribed, they've hit the bell and whatever, YouTube still will not show them the videos. I find that odd. I thought the bell meant that you get a notification or something. So here's my solution. You could subscribe. That is very helpful to me, but you could also join my Discord because I notify everyone when I upload something there. There's also like a private channel for YouTube members. Anyways. I recently culled the rest of the barn animals. I should probably cook the rest of the meat before it goes bad. It's just chilling in a hole in the ground right now. Alright, I don't know how this is going to turn out. This is kind of hard to walk up. I'm going to aim straight for the center there. And then we're going to walk this beam all the way up. Hopefully 32 is enough. It's kind of a crazy visual. Oh no. Look. I can't go any longer than that. Oh my gosh, I hit a limit. I can't believe it. That's as far as we can go. How many blocks short are we? 4. I want to attach to here. 4 blocks short, so let me just feel this out, I guess. That looks cool. It's kind of thin for how freaking huge this thing is. Maybe I will double deck them. But I guess one of my options is to do it only halfway, right? Do it only halfway and stop it there. And then continue from there. You know what I'm saying? That means I would have to decide a halfway point between where that starts and where it ends. So that's at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's about 23 blocks. So on block number 12, that'll be the halfway point. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Cool. So by my calculations, in the very center of this block, right here, is where the beams should meet. So I think that means I should chisel a special block so I can get what I want here. I've got all these spare ones over here, so let's just do that. This thing is really looking like a rocket ship right now. Alright, cool. If anything, I'm gonna chisel it like this so I know exactly which vertex to aim this at. How well do these things work? Wow. So I started this in the center. So I just gotta move it all the way up. Should be more than doable. Perfect. Now I can't start the beam from this block that goes to there because then it'll be attached to that block. I have to attach it to that one. And you know what? Now that I'm thinking about this, I think I miscalculated here a little bit. Yeah, I did. Okay. think it's actually gotta, like, come out to there. Yeah, okay, that might do it. Better clutch. Okay, here we go again. This time, attaching there. Now let's start from this point. Yeah, that should be fine. All right. And I have it attach at the same point right there. Boom. Now before it gets dark, is this what I want? Oh wait, this is the worst angle to look at it from. Is this what I want? You can see it's not quite perfect. That's just because of little discrepancies, like I move this one back a little bit, but it's so close you can't tell, right? That being said though, I feel like I really need to look further back at this. Huh. Yeah, even though I shrunk this thing, and thank God I did, it's still kind of huge. But I put so much time into it, I can't go back now. So there is a solution. We can just thicken these things, you know, like I can just add multiple side by side to make it bigger, and that's what I'm gonna do. Bye-bye. The same logic should apply here. Okay, so I'll start one in the back versus starting one in the front. I'm using the basic grid, so it's not too complex. So this is the one that I've started from the back, put to the center of that block. Now I'm really feeling like a lighthouse keeper with my lantern. Okay, so we did that one in the back, then we gotta do that one in the front. Those are kind of far from each other. All right, hold on. It might be okay. There is that gap there. That might look aesthetic. I don't know yet. Let's try this again. Yeah, that goes to the inside. And that one goes to the outside. That's how that looks. Oh, well, that's considerably more off now. Even so, I could fix that. Is that better? Is that really closer to what I want? I feel like it is. I'm just not sure about how they're like separated like this. It is kind of cool, but still, I guess I gotta experiment. Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we're nearly ready to blast off. I just have to get rid of all this dirt. It's almost morning, the sun's probably gonna come up, so let me take this down and then I can get a first look at how all these freaking beams turned out. Man, the beams took forever. Oh, it's hailing. Not enough to stop me. The hail doesn't ever seem to bother Elkram. Well, now that it's kind of cloudy, I'm not even sure if I can get a good look at this. Can't really see it that well. Is there a lighting glitch here? Yeah, there is. Alright, this is kind of what we're looking at. Now, the thing is like I added those rungs around here, and I considered making them out of a different type of stone, like limestone, because it matches the color of the bald cypress just a little bit better. I decided not to do that, and, you know, perhaps I should have, because it would have made it stand out just a little bit more. I guess I'm picturing this when the sun is hitting it, you know, when the shadows are just kind of hitting it just right. Anyway, look at this. I quadrupled the beams here. I feel like that looks closer to what I would like. I do feel like this is looking pretty good. Oh yeah, the bases of these things. I made these. I changed them a little bit. Before I just had them like this, and I added that on top to make it look like I was connecting more stuff, but it still looks kind of flimsy. So I made a fatter one. I don't know which one I prefer, so I kept both just for now, and I'll get a look at it probably from afar later on. You know what? Can we go to the other side of this lake and get a look at it? Maybe it won't be hailing. No, it's definitely still hailing. Wait, no. It just turned to rain. Yeah, I died a bunch of times. Well, it'll stop raining in a week from now, so that's cool. So I'm not going to get a great view of this place. Alright, well, you know what? That's the base done, and maybe it needs some windows and stuff and some extra detailing. I really kind of have to the end of today to get this video done. I have a tighter schedule than normal. So I think I'm just going to build the lighthouse. I want to get that one done at least. Everything else, that's going to have to come another time. The next thing is the topper. An idea I had that I thought was kind of cool is that the lighthouse glass on top, instead of it being the normal transparent glass that I use all the time, there's such a thing as yellow glass. Apparently, you can get this. And you can only sell it. I see purchased by here. I don't see sold by. Hold on now. Like you can make some of this unique glass smelting smoky quartz. That's kind of cool. Well, I don't know where to find that. It says purchased by everything, but I wonder if it also means sold by. I know I've definitely seen traders sell glass, and yet none of these say sold by. They all say purchased by, so that makes me think that those two menu descriptions are equivalent to each other. Okay, so furniture trader, cold, temperate, and desert. I didn't know that climate determined what they sold. I'm drinking some Earl Grey iced tea, and man, is it sweet. My inventory is like a little bit full. I deforested a rather large section of the cypress swamp to make those beams. Let's grab some monies. We need to go to a furniture trader. Chick over here does sell furniture. I like to buy paintings from her. And only furniture traders sell glass. If, of course, my theory is correct. Alright. Karen, what's your name? Huh, look at that. I can only sell it. Am I mistaken? Am I really gravely mistaken here? How do I get yellow glass? How do I get yellow glass? If I can't buy it, how do I get it to sell to you? Alright, this guy is supposedly a luxuries trader. According to the wiki, this is who you get glass from. I don't know why it doesn't say that in the handbook. I'm nervous to click on this. Oh! Violet, blue, and red. No yellow. Darn. Okay. Hey, you know what he does have is cool? The Scarab Elk Medallion. That's pretty neat. I think I've always had this one. What is that, like Crescent Moon? Yeah, I believe I bought this. Look, there is a sold by category. Huh? It just doesn't say that for glass. That needs to be updated. Oh yeah, this is a real game. You can play Omak. I don't even know what that means, but you can make these little pieces and move them around the board. That is a real thing you can do in this game. I don't know what the game is. I don't know who he's playing with. It's nobody else here. You know, maybe he's not wearing his mask when he's playing, but then he puts the mask on so he can pretend to be an opponent. That's a weird mask, dude. What is he wearing? Maybe I'll buy all this glass just so I don't run into this problem again. Bam, bam, bam. Apparently he's got a lot. It's cheap, too. Looks like we got 56 blue glass, 68 violet, 52 red. That's about as much as Wilt had. Okay. I like buying things from the traders, and I also like how they're like mid-game to late game that they become useful, but not so much early game. Like Stone Age, they're not super useful. I don't know of another nearby luxuries merchant. I don't think I even passed one. It's an artisan, furniture, commodities, agricultural trader, survival goods, treasure trader, clothing, commodities, artisan, clothing, agricultural supplier, artisan, luxuries. The nearest luxuries trader. That is about 25,000 blocks away. I don't want to run another 25,000 blocks. Here's the other thing. Ever since I reset the world, this is not going to be there. You know, there's no trader there. Not anymore. They all reset as well. Delivery of new goods in 5 days. So that means September 4th, probably, right? He might have yellow glass. If that's the case, that's when I gotta come back. Until then, though, I am gonna focus on putting the topper on that lighthouse. Actually, before I focus on that, I'm gonna make some pasta. I just got some cherry tomatoes and jalapenos out of the garden with some fresh herbs. I'll make some pasta with it. Still got about a day and a half of rain left. I made that pasta. It was really good. Jalapeno pasta seems to be my thing. Just get like a pound of Italian sausage, start searing it in the pan, break it up, add the jalapenos, then I add the garlic, then I add whatever fresh herbs there are. I am growing a few. I got this big Parmesan block. I just grate into it. You put a little pasta water in it with olive oil. It's really good. I don't know if I explained that correctly. Anyways, here's where we're at. So I added that thing. Does that give you a better idea of how this thing looks? I added a window too, just because it was easy. I like windows. It looks kind of odd on the lighthouse, like there needs to be more. And there will be, I think. I might even move that one when I put stairs on the inside. So there's that thing at the top. Let's get up there. Every time I've ever built a lighthouse, in whatever block game it is, there's always two schools of thought. The examples of the Outer Island and Devil's Island Lighthouse I'm using apply pretty nicely here. When you have your upper railing, your little balcony at the top of the lighthouse, is that level with the light, or is it just below it? The Devil's Island Lighthouse, it's level. At the Outer Island Lighthouse, it's just below. So which one do I do? Because I'm going to add railing made out of the same material as the rest of this, I think it would be wise for me to have this piece of rail below it. I'm going to extend this white bit up a little bit more before I add the actual light chamber. And that means that the railing will actually be visible against the background of the white part of the lighthouse. If I did it the other way, you wouldn't really be able to see it as much. So I just think that that makes sense. I don't really know how many pieces of chalk I've actually got left. I just realized I forgot to set a temporal gear. I died so many times I think I only have one respawn left in my house. I gotta be really careful. Hey look, there's my pants. Were those there the whole time? They're both in terrible condition. I don't know, it makes sense to wear shorts this time of year. September 4th? Is that when that trade is getting reset? I guess we'll find out. Let's get to top. Alright, guess I'll worry about the railing in a little bit. I'm gonna have to kind of copy these same patterns down here. Slab, slab, slab. This one's a rock, this one's a rock, this one's a slab. Slab, 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 rock, rock. Okay, and because some of these have those little bars in there, which really were a pain to chisel, by the way. I guess this isn't the best view of them. Can you see them better now? So I have these normal ones, and those I spent a long time figuring out what angle I wanted, and then I have the diagonal ones. There's several different angles working there, if you can see that. That was really difficult, but once I made one, I was able to copy it to the rest, thankfully. Oh, we don't want that. I'm gonna copy from down here. You can't see any changes, but I probably will once I get back to the top. The inside of this lighthouse is going to be its own can of worms. I have to like manually recarve these ones, just because I can't reach them from the inside. I feel like this should be 4 blocks tall. This is not going to allow a lot of space. Now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, shouldn't this be smaller? Yeah, it should be, right? Like the size of that ring down there. It should. Well, I should have considered that. I was very careful here to preserve this edge so I could use it as a guide. Now I've got to remove it. To place some of these. Slab, slab, slab. So let's go down and copy that shape. Copy. Does that look much different? Yeah, it does. Okay. Oh, wait, that side. Okay, so I just gotta copy that all the way around, pretty much. Okay, this is about correct. That's 4 blocks tall. Then next I have to actually make the railing, but also this like overhang lip thing. And I'm gonna do that by adding slabs to all of these. I know I have slate rock in other places. It's just scattered all over my base for various different projects. I feel like I use it the most throughout all things that I build. I'm just gonna add them all individually. Do I have any more with me? Nope, I'm gonna have to run and grab some. Alright, the next part, there's this little lip that kind of extends out. I don't need to calculate a new circle for something like this. This should be easy enough. I was thinking lately about the type of music I like to enjoy. I don't talk about music much, or not really. My thought was that I feel like I prefer to listen to music that doesn't have lyrics. And Maybe a lot of you can relate to me. I feel like that's something a lot of like Zoomers have in common. We listen to a lot of non-lyrical music these days. When I listen to music that doesn't have lyrics, I like to imagine what could be happening to that music. I feel like it really paints a picture in my mind. Particularly, it makes me think of like movies that would fit it. Not movies that exist, I mean like a movie, like me inventing a scene or something that would match the tone of the song that I'm listening to. That's kind of what I'd be thinking about. Whereas when a song has lyrics, I mean, I like some songs with lyrics, of course. I don't hate them all or anything like that. But like, they're usually singing about something really specific. A lot of the time, you know, it doesn't really fuel the imagination. Wherever you go, especially in the States, the radio's usually playing whatever building or business you walk into. And it's always like a pop song or classic rock, right? And it's about the same stuff. It's about love or lust or sometimes drugs, I guess. Like, it's about all the same things. And I just don't find that very compelling. That kind of stuff just does not interest me at all. When I listen to music, I try to think about like what the intent of the song was. If it doesn't have lyrics, I can use my imagination a lot. When it has lyrics, I try to think about its purpose. If the song was written specifically to talk about, you know, this girl that you really like, or this, you know, situationship that didn't do you very well, or whatever, you know, that's just, I don't know. Do you have anything new to say that hasn't been sung 100,000 times already? Especially when it's like ghost-written music. It's, what's the point, you know? Why are we still here? Unironically, I listen to a lot of C418 outside of just his Minecraft stuff. In fact, I almost never listen to his Minecraft stuff anymore. You know, it plays in the game, so I'm very used to it. That drove me to look at a lot of his other discography, which is very nice. It's very evocative, you know? My favorite pianist or contemporary musician is probably Hanya Rani. She's really good. At least some of her like earlier stuff was very good. You know what band I really like, though? That does use lyrics. I guess it's like a progressive rock band, but I don't really listen to any other progressive rock because I don't know, it's not for me. But I don't know how else to describe them. They're called Elder. They have lyrics rarely in their music, but it's very, very good. I don't know. I guess I like how it's hopeful and it's kind of like abstract and it's kind of singing about the universe and humanity, you know, that kind of prog rock stuff. I like it though. And I just think that they're all very talented, you know, so I like that. So this bodes a question. What kind of music do you guys like, and why do you like it? If you were willing to elaborate, right? If you prefer music with lyrics, why is that, you know? Like my siblings, you know, they prefer music with lyrics. They think I'm weird when I put on something that doesn't have any words in it. They just don't get it, man. They just don't get it. Okay, so what I did here is I extended this slate 4 pixels out from every surface. That's usually good enough, but something I like to do to make this a little bit more circular. Circular? Wait, circular is a word. I was going to say circular. Is I add a little bit extra to each corner, right? That's what I do. Okay, and this is the part where I'm missing some, because to fill these corners in, gonna need a little bit of extra slate. I'm gonna start copying this all the way around. This is kind of what we're looking at. Can you see that? Just a little bit of a lip. And then right above there should start the glass, the yellow glass, which we don't have. So I guess I'll put this stuff away for now and go see if the luxury trader's selling anything. Alright, what's your face? Please? Oh, okay, he only changed some of his goods. That's... What do we do? What do we do? I could AFK. Could stand here and stare at you for 7 days. Isn't each day like 48 minutes or something crazy like that? With some kind of luck, I have finally managed to find a luxuries merchant. I spent so long searching just for yellow glass. I have to get it right. It just has to be perfect. I hope this doesn't look terrible when it's done. What's your name? It's Well. Hi, Well. I haven't had great luck during this episode, so I hope I have a little bit of karma built up here. It's not green, is it? Oh! Oh my god. Oh my god. It's yellow. Oh, yellow glass. Thank goodness. I'll take your entire stock. Might as well take this blue stuff too, huh? Bring it in, man. Bring it in, buddy. Thank you. As you can see, some progress has been made. I added this rail, and I added those little windows down there because one of the lighthouses I'm referencing does have that. Here's something I do notice. When I chisel this fine, I have a little bit of like aliasing. I've been informed that it's not aliasing, it's the Moira effect. Moira effect? Whatever. I made a post on Reddit and I was asking people like, how do I prevent this? Or is there a mod that prevents this? And, you know, I get the typical Reddit responses where they just say, you're stupid for even asking this question. So anyway, I should have used the official Vintage Story forums. And you should too. Never use Reddit. Ever. Bring back forums. Huh? Much better environment. I kind of have an idea for like what I want to do here. I think that means I'm going to have to build another circle. I want to try to avoid clipping into these edges here. You know, that's just a very small portion of a block. I think the first thing I'm going to go about is constructing a frame. So let's try that. I don't know what to expect here. But after this is done, I think I never want to look at a circle again. I'm going to be happy just to look at this from a distance. It's going to be so cool. A trick that I do, since I have the chisel mod, is I always shave this down to its base level so that way little changes are easier to make. Well, so that's the start of our circle. I'm just going to copy that same thing over and make my life a little easier. Just a 5, 3, 1, 2. And I could just shave off that extra piece. Hey, look, there's a chicken down there. Can you guys even see that? I've been watching this couple, this little clucky couple, been walking around. I've been hearing the rooster crow every once in a while. I love how the little hens walk around. I don't even know if you can see this. Back on topic. Yeah, so that's the basic curve, and then I can just kind of copy that everywhere, right? Sorry, ladder. Mirror. You can't see it that well, but there it is. So this is a pretty good width that keeps me from having to add, like, micro pieces. You know what I mean? Like in here. That would be annoying. I'm actually also going to carve the inside out of this like a circle as well. You guys like making circles as much as I do? I bet you don't. Alright, now if I just copy that everywhere. Okay, wait, no, it's not right. This is our impromptu lighthouse light. You can see this a lot better. Here comes the part that makes me a little nervous. This yellow glass. That's kind of cool, right? Apparently, you can use colored glass and switch out the linings in lanterns, like this one, and it'll cast a different shade of light. Yellow light. That's pretty cool to me. That's something that Minecraft has sworn to never implement for some reason. I remember hearing about that and being kind of like, what? Why? Now that reminds me, I played Minecraft Story Mode when I was younger. I love that, by the way. I thought that was so cool. There were several parts in that series where there was colored light, you know? I thought that was the coolest gosh darn thing. I really wanted it to be a Minecraft because it made the vibes in certain locations, like cities and stuff. It just made it very cool. Not sure how to do this thing. Maybe I need to not be doing it double thick. I feel like I do need to do it double thick. Just, you know, for the corners and stuff. I've only got to figure this out 3 times. It's my first time ever working with colorful glass. Yeah, just like that. I just raise those suckers up. Wait, forgot a side of it. Gonna add glass to all of these. If you're familiar with this mod, you might be wondering why I'm adding all this material individually rather than just doing the copy and paste shape and material tool that comes with this thing right here. That's because, you know, I placed all these slabs and started from them randomly. So like I can't copy and paste the same material from this thing to this thing because the slabs are different directions and that counts as different material, according to the mod at least. However, we can use the plain copy and paste shape only, and that seems to be able to figure it out close enough for some reason. So that just means I have to add it manually. So copy and paste shape only. Boom, boom. I have to rotate these again, but that's okay. This kind of feels like I'm in the Fortress of Solitude, but it's yellow. or something, I don't know. Cool. Yellow. How tall are these usually, you know? I don't know. This lights up very strangely. You guys see the moon? It's like moving independently of the sky. It's because it's just rendered away from the player. Just looking at this, maybe 4 blocks tall. That's the guess at which I'll start, right? We do the same thing. Copy and paste. Shape. Be kind of cool if I kept those rungs there, but it would make it look kind of strange, right? So I need to replace this fat side here. It's approaching dinner time. I'm excited to have some of that pasta again. Whoa. Look at this. Subtle moon reveal. Can you see this right here? What am I doing? Yeah, I can mirror the top and the bottom, just like this. That's way easier. Now it's a little taller. This should get progressively easier. Yo, chill. That's approaching a nice height, actually. The final step, at least for this weird window, is to just have this exact same thing on top, just mirrored. Same thing as before. I'm gonna add slabs to it. Oh no! Ha! Yeah, that copied in the exact opposite order. Okay, well, that's a little weird. Maybe, what if I started from this, added glass? That seemed to do it. What the heck do I do with this thing? What do I do with this? I don't even know. I don't want to throw it away, that's wasteful, but I like... Maybe if I flip this one... No, that didn't do it. I guess I'll just have to do that one manually, that sucks. The order at which it chooses to do things is kind of strange. I'm sure there's some sort of priority. I don't know what it is, though. Ah! Add glass to everything. Maybe it's because I did it the same way down there. When I made that circle, I started with slabs, and then I added glass to it. So the order matters. so I just gotta do this one manually. Mirror. Raise, raise, raise. That looks right. Alright. This mod is so useful. That looks crazy, dude. Holy crap. The other idea that I had was on the outside of this thing. So I don't want it to just be plain like this. I want to add something to it. Just like the Devil's Island Lighthouse, there's like this cross-stitching thing going on here. I think it's really cool. I'm just going to try it. I don't know how this is going to work out across the board. So I just got to make sure it lines up on either side. Yeah, it seems like that is not going to work correctly. Yeah, see, was my concern, right? These triangles are okay. They meet at the same height. This middle one doesn't, and I think that can be solved, actually. This has actually got to go up there. You know something? I guess maybe I should start from the center, because this doesn't start quite off the bottom. It'd be smarter for me to start at this dividing line right here. Of course, this means I need to add even more. Because as X begins to bend around here, I gotta make some weird sacrifices, but it works. This might end up looking kind of strange, but just let me figure it out. I'll get it. Okay, I think I finally reached a point where I can be satisfied with this project. By the way, this mod I keep using is called Salty's Bird's Eye View. Speaking of bird's eye view, you can't actually see it that well. I noticed that if I hit the keybind like right after zooming back in, it goes way out. But I mean, that's too far, you can't even see it. How about this? Can you see out of that roof? I free-handed that whole thing, like that was ridiculous. There's no way it was gonna make that accurate, so it's kind of just, so it's not like the most accurate thing ever. It's not like a perfect cone. And then I added a little ball on the top. I used one of these balls down here. There's one more thing that this thing is missing before I can be fully satisfied with it though. And that is, of course, a light. Now, I'm not really totally sure how like a proper lighthouse lens would look in this game. I've seen a few in real life. They're always so strange. For now, I want to give it a chance to shine. Literally, right? I'm pretty sure that I can I replace it just like this? You can also change the color of glass panes by placing the lantern and right-clicking with the new glass. Okay, so I just have to do it outside the crafting inventory. Can I even get up here anymore? I kind of cask of Amontillato'd myself here, and then I fell off and died. Again. Here we are. And it's all yellow. It's the inside of the thing. I don't care. Alright, so just replace that tin bronze lantern with this one. I am going to actually... I don't think I have any slate left at all. I'm gonna make like a quick pillar out of this, I guess. That looks cool. Just right click with this. Well, that didn't do anything. Maybe shift? No, that didn't do it either. I need to do a glass block. Oh, okay. It was a glass block. That makes sense. The only problem is that now it's kind of daytime, but maybe, just maybe, you can get an idea of how it looks from the outside if I be fast. Nope, it's daytime. I have survived, I think, 3 temporal storms just on the scaffolding that's up there. Elkrum's rack is coming in. Looking good. Alright, let's get a look at this thing. Wow, it actually came together kind of nicely. I think the only thing it's missing is like specific discernible features along the base here. Those rings that I made that are just more chalk, they probably should have been slate. I feel like that probably would have been smarter. And maybe that's a detail I can add. As you know, in the beginning of this video, I was very optimistic. I'm like, hey, I'm going to build a building, I'm going to build the perfect lighthouse, I'm going to make a boat. Well, we got the wharf, kinda. We got the lighthouse. Missing some other stuff, of course. Now that you know what it looks like during day, I guess I should show you how it looks at night. Well, there it is. Ooh, that lightning was kind of cool at illuminating that. Ideally, in the future, I'll have multiple lanterns kind of hanging in it. It's very yellowy. There's the lighthouse, and now it looks kind of green for some reason. Still, that turned out really nicely, and I feel like with some extra decoration, you know, we can really get a lot done here. But I'm going to call it good for now. This is pretty hefty progress for me. This actually took a very, very long time to do compared to the other stuff that I've made videos about. I mean, for goodness sakes. But yeah, there's a lot more to do. But for now, it looks pretty satisfying across the lake and against the night sky. I think with that, that's going to be everything for today. So hey, hope you enjoyed the video. You know, if you liked it, it does help me a lot if you guys subscribe, you like that kind of stuff. It helps me do what I do, it helps me make videos. It doesn't cost anything, but it's just a nice thing you guys can do. So up to you, I guess. Thank you to everybody who is subscribed to my channel membership. It is mostly a way to support me, but if you are a channel member, you get access to like the unedited versions of these videos. So with all the stuff that I cut out for this video, it's probably going to be like 5.5 hours. That's my guess. So that's how long the members video will be, and then you guys are getting the quintessence of that, basically. Quintessence implies the existence of sextessence and septessence, doesn't it? Anyway, it is a different design for a lighthouse. The bald cypress doesn't quite match the color, but, you know, I like it a lot. I think it turned out pretty well. Let me know what you guys think. Did I do a good job? Could I have improved? Did I build the impossible in Vintage Story? Just let me know. But until then, I've been Monster, and have a good night.